So we often want to investigate the relationship between two categorical variables. So consider the following sort of classic example involving the survival statistics for the Titanic and class, first, second, third, and even including the crew. So one obvious question can be asked. Is there an association between ticket class and survival rate? That is, so did adults who had first class tickets survive at a different rate than those with second class and third class tickets? So straight marginal distributions don't really reveal associations between categorical variables. So let's look at the column percentages. So recall that these are called conditional distributions. So there certainly appears to be an association between survival rate and class. Survival rates seem to differ between the classes, including the crew. So we have a 62.5% survival rate of first class passengers versus about a 25% of third class passengers. And we can even look at a segmented bar graph, also reveals this apparent pattern, and so does a side-by-side bar graph. So we can also take a look at the row percentages and the segmented bar graphs and the side-by-side bar graphs for each of these. So each of these gives us a slightly different perspective on the survival rates compared to class. Again, we see there's a clear difference between the survival rates of the different classes. So another way we can say this is that survival rate was dependent on the passenger class. So often you're just going to be presented with the counts in each cell. So rather than the percentages, the row percentages or column percentages, you'll just be asked individual questions about it. So for example, what is the proportion of those in first class who survived? So pause the video here if you haven't been doing that and see if you can figure this out. So what we do is we're going to limit ourselves to looking at the column of first class. So we look at first class and we say, what is the proportion of those in first class who survived? So we look at those who were alive, which was 203, and divide it by 325, 0.625. Another question, so what is the proportion of those who survived who were in first class? So now we're going to look at the alive, those who survived. Only focus yourself just on that one row that I highlighted here. And we say, okay, how many of them are in first class? 203, and divide that by 711. And we get about 0.286. Okay, the last one of this grouping here. So what is the proportion of those who were in first class and survived? Again, pause the videos here to see if you can get these. Okay, so we're looking at the total now. And we want to look at how many were in first class and survived, which is 203. We divide that by 2201 to get about 0.092.